Senate Armed Services Committee member Senator Tim Scott, Republican from South Carolina. It's great to have you back on our program, sir. Good morning to you.
Thank you, Bill. Good morning to you as well.
To me, it just strikes as more public negotiations. How do you react to that word from Pyongyang?
I agree with you 100%. The reality of it is simple, that for the last 30 years plus, North Korea has been trying to find a way to deceive the American people and the rest of the world into assuming that they will give up their nuclear weapons, nuclear program, if we just do fill in the blank. And the reality of it is that the bully from North Korea finally met presidential hubris that he could not deceive. That is why he's coming to the table, because the president has done a very good job of negotiating the terms of coming together, and by applying more economic sanctions and isolating North Korea, we find them coming closer and closer to the table. But we should be cautious in our optimism. We cannot send a signal that we are jubilant about the North Korean leader coming to the table. The reality of it is that we need him to sit down, have a conversation, and then show us discernible steps taken to denuclearize the DMZ. Without that, we should continue to apply the pressure and, frankly, increase sanctions against the North Korean regime.
I think you make some excellent points, and you could be spot on this. Do you think Mac Thornberry was right when he said over the weekend that maybe Kim Jong-un, has what he needs in terms of a nuclear-developed program?
I think they've made a lot of advancements since they started playing games in the early 90s, with presidents from our country saying that they were going to step away from their program, buying more time to do more development, to do more research, and frankly, they've done a very good job of keeping us at bay. The good news is we're finally pushing them to the table through isolation and economic sanctions. The world, if we all want world peace, the best way to get there is to apply the kind of pressure that requires the North Korean regime to come to the table, and frankly, to bring back the curtains and let us watch very closely what they do next. Let us not listen to the words of the regime. Let us watch the actions.
Yeah. One more question on this, and I think you're exactly right. I think the sanctions worked. I think the Chinese pressure has worked. I think the military pressure on behalf of the president, James Mattis, have worked so far, and that's what's all driving this. Do you think this president would sacrifice some of the 13,000 U.S. troops serving in South Korea to draw down that number in order to possibly make a deal in the end?
I really don't think so. I think the administration has been pretty clear on their opposition to removing our troops. Removing our troops does not make the world safer. It does not make the Korean Peninsula safer. It actually creates more volatility and reduces the amount of security, which I think emboldens the North Korean regime. If a part of the negotiations is a requirement that we remove our troops, that is bad news for South Korea, and even worse news, frankly, for our country and the world.
Sir, there's an election coming up in 6 months. I'm certain you are well aware. The Hill has a headline today. Guys, go ahead and show that first. I just want to point this out. Dems face pressure to focus on economy, not Trump. You know, that's something that a lot of people are going to be hearing out very soon. And this tweet from the commander-in-chief just last hour, right? This on screen. Is this phony witch hunt going to go on even longer, so it wrongfully impacts the midterm elections, which is what the Democrats always intended? Republicans better get tough and smart before it is too late. What about the last part of that? Are Republicans tough and smart, as he suggests?
I think we are definitely, as a party, a very tough party, and we are certainly smart. The question is, are we good at marketing? I think that question needs to be answered by proving to the American people that the successes that we have seen from a policy perspective under this administration, we ought to be highlighting that. We cannot allow fake news to create this barrage that requires us to respond to every single thing that comes out of the fake news media machine. We need to be focusing on the fact that for the first time since 2000, we have unemployment rates under 4%. That for the first time in recorded history that African-American unemployment is at 6.6%, that we've had the largest expansion in our economy that we can remember in the last century. The facts are very clear that if we don't market to the American people the success, the policy success of this administration, we put in peril, we jeopardize the success that the American people need us to have in November to continue this economic recovery that requires good conservative policies to undergird the next wave of opportunities for the average person working paycheck to paycheck.
There's going to be a lot of talk of this in the coming months, as you just rightly stated.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Senator. Good to have you back on our programs. Tim Scott, the senator
Bill.
from South Carolina.